We did a really powerful meditation the other day inside of our school, and I wanted to share it with you here today. This is a surrender meditation that will help you find deep, unconditional peace, and it will also share with you how to face your life challenges, the day to day personal challenges and obstacles without resistance in the state of total surrender. So not only does this help you find inner peace, but it also helps you grow spiritually. So the first sort of fourth of the video is I'm going to share a teaching with you from the great sage Nisargadatta Maharaj on how to face these life challenges and how to live in surrender. And then we're going to follow that up with a really nice meditation where you can just sit, relax, listen to the words, and really try to feel it out. They will help you sort of induce yourself into this state or understanding of surrender, and then you can start to practice that in your daily life. It will really help you. So enjoy and just relax. No need to figure anything out right now. Just listen and let the words do their own job. In all difficulties, Maharaj tells us, go through it without resistance, facing tasks as they come, attentive and thorough, both in small things and big. All right, so go through it, whatever you have to go through it without resistance, no matter how small these inconveniences are, or no matter how big these problems may appear to be. Attentive and thorough, facing tasks as they come without resistance. Have the general attitude of affectionate detachment, enormous goodwill, without expectation of return, constantly giving without asking. In the quote here, it says, in marriage, you are neither the husband nor the wife, but you can really substitute that for a sentence in any relationship. You are neither this person or that person. You are the love between the two. You are the clarity and kindness that makes everything orderly and happy. Okay? In any relationship, in any situation, you are never this party or that party, this person or that person. You are the love that holds together all creation. You are the clarity, the kindness that makes everything orderly and happy. And so, from the perspective of your true self, the one we have to embody throughout our life in all situations to the best of our ability, is having the general attitude of affectionate detachment, enormous goodwill, without expectation of return. And as you have seen in your own life, it is only because of expectation that things become polluted. Because wanting is ego. Wanting is the scent of ego. Over time, you will find that the mystical is the most practical, for it makes your life creatively happy. Over time, you will find that the mystical is the most practical, right? Because for the ego, wanting is practical, expecting is practical, giving for the sake of return is practical. And it doesn't make sense to the mind how to live in this way if, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? How are things going to get resolved? How am I going to get my way? But over time, as we practice these teachings, as we embody them, you will find that the mystical is the most practical, for it makes your life creatively happy. And you may have already encountered this in so many different ways, right? Like the spiritual teachings make your life happy, simple, harmonious in ways you could not have mentally deduced them to be in the past. And maybe still, you currently, like when you practice spiritual teaching, sometimes you still can't tell why things work the way they do. Yet there's just a simplicity about things. There's just a certain harmony and happiness about the way you currently live now that now it doesn't need to make any practical sense. Yet that's just the way that feels right. He says your consciousness will be raised to a higher dimension from which you will see things much more clearly and with greater intensity. Go through it without resistance, facing tasks as they come. And so that is also the advice that Krishna gives to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, because, and the Bhagavad Gita is portrayed in a very beautiful way because it is a battlefield. For every spiritual seeker, life in a way is a battlefield where you encounter challenge, you encounter suffering, you encounter situations where you do not know what the right thing to do is. And sometimes you are deeply, deeply stuck with no solution in sight. So Krishna tells us that the way to your happiness is not to withdraw from this battle, but rather to fight the battle. Similarly to as Maharaj is pointing us in that quote, go through all of these situations, regardless of if they're small or big, without resistance, facing tasks as they come. Draw strength from within. For the earnest spiritual seeker, it becomes more and more impossible to find peace in anything of this world because it becomes more and more glaringly clear that all things are impermanent and that nothing is the cause of happiness. Regardless of whatever you may be going through right now, no matter how hard your situation may be, things are as they need to be. And you must face things one by one without resistance while drawing strength from within. Know that you are not going through what you're going through without reason. You are not going through what you are going through for the sake of your torture. God, self, life has given you exactly what you need at this current moment. Do not doubt that for even a second. Because regardless of what you think about your situation, life is as it is. The more that we learn to face life as it is without resistance, without opinions and judgments, the more we discover this truth that all things are as they are. They are as they are. They are as they need to be. That all experience is a river flowing to wisdom, to self realization. So surrender yourself. Stop praying to God or life to end your worries and challenges and problems. The purpose of this life is not to live a problem free existence with tons and tons of never ending pleasure. Life is a river flowing to wisdom, to self realization. Flow with the river, surrender to the flow of the river. Let go of being obsessed with the scenery. Let go of trying to manipulate the flow. This thing you may have a really, really hard time with, and you may find great resistance to the very art of surrender, or you may find it really like the only option you have and a huge relief from the burden you carry. Whatever it may be in your experience, learn to surrender. Or the life of the earnest seeker is no longer theirs because you are not the person. So the more that you cling to this idea of who I am and what I want my life to look like, where I want my life to go, what it must become and must not become, in this way we halt our own spiritual growth and understanding, and we suffer. In day-to-day life, do all that you wish to do, handle your responsibilities. As Maharaj says, face all things one by one without resistance, attentive and thorough, both in small things and big. But inwardly, you have given up your life to life itself. You have surrendered yourself. Inwardly, what comes of your life, what happens in your life, is no longer of utmost importance. Whatever comes, that's okay. Whatever goes, that's okay too. Find peace and find strength in knowing that all things are as they need to be, and surrender to God's will, life's will, the will of the self. What is the will of God or will of self? That which arises spontaneously in this moment, in every moment. Let go of wishing your problems weren't here. Let go of wishing your problems were different problems and not these problems. Let whatever problems that life has deemed fit for you to guide you to the truth of who you are. Experience is a river that flows towards wisdom. Allow it to do so, facing all challenges which come without resistance, one by one. It may not seem practical to your mind, but as Maharaj says, if you have the desire to practice this and you do so, over time we find that the mystical is the most practical, for it makes our life creatively happy. Feel your silent being in this experience, in every experience. You'll find peace in that, strength, clarity in that, truth in that. Stability, security, companionship, fullness, contentment. All these things you seek outside, start to look for them inside. Need not even look, just be as you are. Know that you are. You're not alone. God's presence is always here. The presence of self is always within you. To come to know God's presence within you, you have to become empty of who you think you are. You have to surrender. You have to drop your judgments, opinions, your wants, resistances. Food nourishes the body. Concepts nourish the mind. Only silence, the presence of God, nourishes you. It dissolves you. You are exactly where you need to be. Your circumstances are not an obstacle to your highest happiness. You are just looking in the wrong place. Your circumstances are not an obstacle to your spiritual growth. Surrender. Let go of attachment of what you think your life must become and must not become. Give up that which was never yours in the first place. Life is a river that flows to wisdom. It's not about what more experiences you can accumulate. It's about letting the river deliver you to the destination. Paradoxically enough, the destination is also now. The path is the presence of God, and the destination is also the presence of God, which is always now. No need to mentally understand this. Just give yourself up. The presence of God is also my presence, presence of self, not me, the person's presence. The person doesn't have a presence. The person is an experience which appears in my presence. Whenever you feel alone, unhappy, dissatisfied, unsure about how to act, what to do, turn inwards, be quiet, surrender, and then trust what arises from that. When you start to live for truth, self realization being your highest priority, then things become more simple. Until that becomes your highest priority and the only thing which, makes sense to pursue, Until then, there's something within you that is just living for the next experience, something within you that's just living for pleasure. That part has to become exhausted. Only suffering can do that. Only suffering can turn your outward desire for experiences inward towards the desire for truth, God, self. So, wherever you may find yourself on the journey, be patient. And to whatever degree you can, keep turning inward. Meditate, be quiet, and live in surrender. This will not fail you. All right, you can feel free to open your eyes. If you're new here, consider subscribing and join our free self inquiry community. Over there, you can connect with other seekers of truth, ask questions, and you can also access my self inquiry guide and mini course. And if this is something that you'd like to go deeper on, if you're looking to work on your self inquiry practice, if you're looking to dissolve mind identification and awaken to your true nature more deeply and you want help with that, consider joining our Self Inquiry School, which is a program that will take you step by step, day by day, deeper into your understanding of your true nature. I'll link both things down below. It was a pleasure and honor to share this teaching with you today. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you next time. Bye bye.